And please let me know if you can see my entire screen.
You can see your screen. Python
Alright.
programming exercise. That's what it is. Yeah.
No, I mean now can you see what can you see now? You should be
I
seeing
can
the mirror.
see. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I'm seeing
yeah.
the Discord platform.
Oh yeah, makes sense, makes sense, makes sense. Alright,
A
so
Discord platform,
Python
like a
programming exercise. A Python programming exercise. Build Python hands-on and backend simulation. So live coding, student exercise. You guys would code though. So now go code, now go share screen. And then we would always push our code to Git and to GitHub rather. We would use Git to push to GitHub because we want to always see those codes there. You know, all those things are like your portfolio. Is what you show people and say, this is the proof that you've done something like this and you know this thing. So meet me again as usual. I'm just a random programmer. Nothing past that one. Then the last part you're seeing there, that line. Build session rules. You must type. You think through whatever problem you're trying to solve. You not just start coding. And it is normal for us to make mistakes because you would make those mistakes and then you would always debug them and it will be added as your experience because those things will build you. If you imagine you did not do any mistake, you just come and you become God programmer. That one said day, but I never see him. So ask questions anytime. Anytime I explain a concept that you are trying out to like understand, always bring it to my attention. Ask questions. No question is too dumb or too stupid. Just ask them. Why is this thing like this? Why did Python do this? Why is this one like this? Why is it working this way? So ask those questions. So I will not paste code. It's not copy and pasting. We'll write the code together. All, all through the steps, you would see everything. I would make my own mistakes too and would correct them together. So, so how this section works, I will describe the tasks. We think, we code it together, we repeat, we commit. Commit is of essence. We must always commit. Because that's how engineers work. We work in collaboration. We work together. It's not in isolation. You don't work just individually. You can be jack of all trades, no problem. Only you can build your own Facebook, no problem. But in a re-engineering scenario or company or workspace, you'd always work with people. And if you work with people, you guys would collaborate. You get. So for the first live demo, based on the Python build we did, this environment check exercise, the task here is for us to create a new project. We'll create a Python file inside of. So I would ask you guys, what do you want us to print? It's just going to print anything. Then I probably would simulate a scenario where it would give error and they would try to like think through it. Why is it giving us that error? You understand?
yes.
So back to this place. Hope you guys can see my file. So I'll call this one.
Yes, you can see it.
Alright. Back and workshop. This is not. This is week one. Let me put it week one for my own. In your case, I'll give you a project folder name. You name your own. Backend week one. I think I should create a new one, DevSoc, so that I will not scatter my file. So inside of the DevSoc, I have my backend week one, and then I've created the folder. That's the first thing the task asks us to do. And then I'm going to open the folder in VS Code. So this is my Visual Studio Code. And it asks us to create a file. I'll call this file main.py. Now, quick question. What is .py? What What is .py?
A,
Why is
a
it
Python file.
a Python file? If we don't name it .py, what do you think would happen?
That would be just more of like a ordinary folder.
What do you say?
Be like ordinary text or folder inside the folder.
What about you, Prince? Prince, it seems you are saying something. Manifest, what about you? Fred Dev, Chisu, what about
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah. If we don't name the a file .py, what do you think would happen?
We're going to have error. VS Code would there will definitely be an error since we are not telling VS Code the language we want to work with. So that .py tells VS Code that this is Python. We are writing a Python code.
Well, to a point, it makes sense there. But then, VS Code has nothing to do with that one. VS Code is not the one who is running your Python code. In the normal sense, it's the Python interpreter that would run your Python code. That's why before you run a Python code, you tell it, you say Python, run this file for me. Just like Unscripted said, if you don't give it a file extension, by default, VS Code will take it as a TST. It will be like a test file by default. Let me show you what I'm saying. So, like this now, because I gave it .py, you can see this Python icon. This is because I downloaded one extension, I think material icon, that would like map each programming language to their respective icon. So now look at it. This one is by default. Now this thing is still assuming that this thing is a Python file. Yeah, but this is actually a TST file. Let's say I do something like me. You can see. So this main now is assuming this main. This is one of Python's convention. It's not a forceful stuff. It's just convention. So it's assuming any main file is going to be a .py. It's just like requirement.tst. It knows that requirement.tst is a Python thing, and you see the Python icon there. So you can see this one now is taking it as a normal test file. You understand? So you as the programmer now, you know that each file that you want to run, since it's Python you are writing, must have the .py extension there to let the interpreter know that this thing is a Python code. So when you want to run that stuff in your terminal, you would always specify, you say Python, run this file for me, because this file is in this directory. You can see the directory here. So in my folder directory, from the document, the codes, desktop, backend week 1, we have this main.py. So we want to run main.py, then it will do whatever instruction you've written inside of it. For now, we have nothing. You get? For now, we have nothing. So if we look back to our slide, we've done the bullet one, create, then run a program that prints something. So let me ask, what am I going to ask? You said we should print anything. What do you think we can print out?
Is it me? I'm not seeing your.
What do you say? I'm not hearing you.
Probably VC name.
We should print what?
VC name. Vice Chancellor name.
Okay, the VC's name. As if I know the name. What is his name?
I don't know. I don't know.
See all these students who don't know VC name. Okay. Let's just print unscripted. Unscripted. So now we've printed anything, and this print is a built-in Python function that does one thing. It prints to the terminal. What does it print to the terminal? Every object it would print to the terminal is of type string. You get, by default, it is always printing a string to the terminal. You get, so it's not printing anything aside string to the terminal. So it converts, like if you are doing something like a concatenation, of which would get here. I'm just giving you like a clue now. Concatenation in the sense that you are printing both a string, a value or an object of type string and an object of integer. It would give you error. It will tell you it cannot concatenate the type of integer to the type of string because it needs to just print out one type, and that type is always string. And unscripted is a string here because it's wrapped inside of this double quote that you're saying. So if we now tell the interpreter, Python, I want you to print main.py, you can see it on the terminal. What is it printing? It's printing unscripted because that's the command, the instruction we've given to our interpreter for it to do. You get. Now, if I do something like this, Chisel, tell me, will he print it out?
Sorry, is that what?
If I now I did something like this, you can see my let me control. Okay, it's bold now. So look at what I wrote here. If I ask Python to print it out, will it print out unscripted for us?
Um, no, it's not.
Why? Why? Hmm?
So I feel like like when speaking, can I say what you wrote?
My own perspective, I don't think it
If
will.
fear the talk, eh?
No, I don't know.
Chisel and every other person here, anyhow the answer is we are all learning together. You get, nobody like just woke up one day and understood everything. So say it as you understand it. Sure you get. Why do you think it would not print and be outspoken? Just say it as you understand it. Would understand.
Okay.
Sure you get.
The reason why it will not print is because the 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 variable is a string, and if you're writing a string, you must put that quotation mark. I don't know if I'm right, but you must sharp put that quotation mark. So this is a string, so the quotation mark supposed to be there. So and it's not going to print
Sorry,
without that.
in this case now,
Nice.
we are saying that unscripted is like assigned variable,
Yeah.
whereby we not assign the variable like unscripted is so.
Yes.
So it's not going to like.
Yes. Okay. Emmanuel, if you're trying to talk and we're not hearing you, please, probably you would leave and come back again. Maybe it would work well then. Because I don't know if you're saying something and we're not listening. Or
I
we're not
don't
hearing.
know what is really
Okay,
happening.
Chisom, based on the two explanations from manifest and unscripted, do you understand?
Yes, yes. He said a very.
Okay. So unscripted is just like a label, is a variable name. In this case, that's the way the interpreter would see it. It's like, okay, are you trying to like point this thing to a particular data in memory? You get, that's what it's expecting here. So you can see what it's saying. Unscripted is not defined because well, it's just like we're trying to print a data, but we're not defining it. We did not have the print is not wrapped inside of the double quote. So that's another issue. Then if you try to run it, we can see the name error. Name unscripted is not defined because we did not define that name. So we've simulated one error now based on the first task that we have. So questions now. What command runs Python? What command runs Python? Fret dev, I've not had anything from you. What command runs Python? The question is to you. Fred Dev, are you with us? Fred Dev. When I say Fred Dev, don't run Komoto. Alright. Mini, what about you? Oh, true. Alright. Mini, what command runs Python?
Yes. Sorry.
What do you say?
I heard my name.
Yes, I called your name. I said, what command runs Python?
UI.
Py.
Oh, sorry. Spring.
If I was using what do you say?
Spring.
No. That one is for you to print out. You said py. If I was using Windows, and I think there's this true for Linux to Fedora, I can use py as an alias to run Python instructions. So the question is, what command runs the Python instruction? If you look at what I've done so far, like this part, now there's something I did, and I said, yo, Python, run main.py. So which command did I use to tell Python to communicate with Python? I've been saying it safe. So I'm just trying to make it sound tricky.
Huh?
Yeah, which command did I use to run the Python?
I guess you are calling Python, then with the file name. I don't get that.
So it is Python I use to run the Python instruction. I've been saying Python since I was thinking you get the clue, and you see it from what I did here, Mini. So if you see it here, I did Python run this main.py. So the command there is what? Python. Python is the command. Yes. So Python is the command. If I do py as you've said, it won't work in my case because this particular distribution I'm using is still telling me to go and install one, and I don't want to go through that stress. So I just use the normal Python. Then in some systems I think like Mac OS, like MacBook or whatever collections they have, they use Python 3 too. They do something like Python 3, and you can see Python 3 is working too here. So Python 3 is telling me the same stuff. So Python 3 is a command, Python 2 is a command. So that's what you use to run this stuff, that instruction you give. So what if the terminal says Python not found? What happens in that scenario? What will I do in that scenario? Who will I ask? Unscripted. What will I do?
Probably I feel like the Python this thing software is not installed on the VS Code like that.
Nice. Let's clap for this guy. Nice. So that's exactly what it is. You get. That's what it is. When there's no installation of Python, in it. That's where you get cases like Python not found. You understand? So let's move on. Let's move on. Let's move on. So thinking prompts. What are the steps to run a Python file? What are the steps to run a Python file? Think it straightforward. You use the Python command and then the Python file you want to run. You get. So what must exist first? What should exist first should be your Python interpreter. Because without the interpreter, you won't be able to translate that code, that instruction you've written to the machine code. You get. The machine won't understand it. It's the interpreter that would interpret whatever you've written on the surface and then convert it to byte code for your CPU to now do what? Translate and give you response there. So why do we type commands? With the commands, you'll be able to communicate with the interpreter. The command is just you get the programmer. You need that command for it to execute your lines of instruction you've given to it. So it's just like you build something and you say, without telling it go, it won't go. So you need to tell it, you need to give it that command before it does what you want it to do. So do we understand that part? Any questions so far before we push forward? Question. No, we've not even started doing crazy stuff. I'm just trying to relax your brain. So any questions so far?
Sorry, I have a question, but it's not concerning about this thing.
Is it tech related programming?
Yes, is this backend too that we are doing, this Python. When I was
Okay.
when I installed when I was using VS Code, the terminal they are using, I can see that your own is like is it bash, but my own under prompt. Is it the same thing?
I'm coming. I would answer your question now. Okay. So I'm using Deepin. Deepin is a Linux distro. That's what I'm using. So I'm not using Windows or Mac. I'm using Deepin. That's why my terminal is looking the way it is looking. We're talking about this terminal, right? This one.
I thought you are using VS Code before.
Yeah, I'm using VS Code now.
You're inside the VS Code. I mean the terminal inside the VS Code.
Instead of the VS Code, this is the terminal.
Yes, you see that bash this thing.
Yeah, this one here.
Yes, my own is Anaconda prompt. By Anaconda command.
Please,
So
can
you
you
click,
speak loud
if you
so I
click
can
if you
hear you?
if you click on the plus icon beside that bash,
Yeah.
it's going to like bring a different base of terminal.
Okay, you mean this? Not is it this drop down you're talking about?
Yes.
Okay.
My own it has a Anaconda prompt inside
Yeah,
it,
because you have Anaconda
and
installed.
I'm using. Oh,
Because you
okay.
have Anaconda
It's the same
installed,
thing, right?
that's why. Because you have it installed. So were you doing something data related that made you install Anaconda on your system?
Yes.
Yeah, that's why. So this terminal like VS Code, any form of terminal that you have installed, Anaconda, normal bash, and all that, there are different types. Like if it is what is the name? There is Windows now. You see the CMD, the command line. You see PowerShell on Windows. So my own now, I'm just using Linux. So nothing concern me with all those heavy load. It's just straightforward. You can see it. I'm using just bash. And this
All right.
just
Okay.
debug terminal. Nothing. I don't know what I've never used it before. All I'm using is just bash. Sure you get.
Yes, sir.
Just
No
bash
problem.
thing for me.
Thank you,
So
sir.
that's how that one works. Any question before we move forward? Any question? Any question? No question, right? All right. So let's move on. So now we've started entering the sweet stuff of things. This one is the variables practice. What is a variable in Python? It's how it's specified in Python because Python's variable is not as we think we know it. So what is a variable in Python? Before I even start explaining, let me ask you guys. you programming lords and queens and kings, what is variable in Python? I'm not hearing you well. I want to try something, so you guys should tell me how the sound is, please. So tell me, is the sound okay? Unscripted, manifest, Daniel.
Is it like this, Abi?
Yes, is it okay?
Yeah, it's okay like this.
Okay. Daniel, is the sound still okay, please? Since Daniel is not active at the moment. Anyhow, Chisom, I can hear you now. So, Chisom, you're not saying anything. On Monday, your voice was like very, 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 very loud. It seems when it comes to back end, your voice used to run away. It seems to skip. I cannot hear you. Can you hear me?
Hello?
Uh-huh.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you loud.
Okay.
Is it loud?
I don't know what's loud. I don't use my network. Okay, so on Monday, I was not here for the back end, but I think I just want to try. I want to give it my own way to understand it.
Makes sense. All right.
Okay, so I think a variable is a name you assign to an element.
Is a name you assign to what?
A name you assign to a particular class. I don't know. It's a name you give to something sharp.
Makes sense, because that's actually the direction Python is going when they did their own variable. So nice, makes sense. Any other person? Any other person? Unscripted, what is variable to you in Python?
Variable is a temporary storage. The value.
That's where you failed it. Because that's what they really taught everybody in Python. So now let me explain this part to you guys. So in Python, when you have a variable, say you have a variable called name, and then there's this equals to, please don't mind my handwriting. Then your quotes, you have me as the name, Jesus, my handwriting. Anyhow, you can see what it is. Let me even write it in code here. So you have a variable called name, and then you have me assigned to it. Now the normal definition they would always give, just because you need to help them understand what variable is, like on the abstract part of things, they will say variable is a temporary storage or is a container that stores data temporarily. You get? Makes sense. In other languages like C and C++, I think that's valid enough. But you see in Python, a variable is actually a name label. It's a reference. So why is it a reference? If you have your this is my own diagram for the heap storage. I'm not go vex. You get? So this is my own diagram for the heap storage. Or this is my diagram for your virtual memory. Let me put it that way. So your normal virtual memory now, you can visualize this in your head. It looks like this slots of bytes together. Let's just put it that way. So normal heap storage that you guys have is starting from the bottom and is going to the top. Then your stack storage is coming from the top and is going to the bottom. Now your Python, everything in Python is actually an object. From your name to your number to even the functions in Python, everything is an object in Python. So which means, because of that Python being an object, Python is a dynamic programming language. Your name can store a number. So Python did something like this now. Just for it to be dynamic, everything is going to your heap storage. Everything you are creating in Python is pointing to your heap storage. So that's where this variable concept comes in now. So if you have something like number or name equals to me that you are seeing, that's your double quote me that you are saying is going to be inside of this your storage. Me is saved inside of the storage. Then your name as a label is pointing to this me in storage. Do you understand? So it's not containing that data. This name is not containing me. It is instead pointing to me. Me is inside of the heap storage. Name is inside of the stack storage. So name is containing a memory address, and the memory address is what? Is what? This me. I don't think. Do you guys understand that stuff I just explained now?
You don't carry and go technical something. Okay. My brain is not breathing again.
Hello, boss.
Okay, makes sense.
Hello, boss.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah,
Manifest, Abi.
can I try to explain in my own English
Yeah,
language?
yeah.
Okay, for me, variable stores data from the word variable. That means it's in Python we use variable to store data. So it has store different kind of data. We have the string, it has store your name. So that's just variable. Anytime I hear variable is something that store a particular data in Python. So like when you have name is
Yeah.
equals to
That
John.
that's
So
that's still what
okay, sir.
that's
Thank you,
what we
boss.
are still explaining. So in Python, in Python, in other programming language, when you say variable stores data in other programming language, this is how it is to them. This name we did here in your normal diagram, you just, let's say you have one simple memory slot like this. That name is going to be inside of here. The me is here for that name. So you say the name itself is storing this data me. But in Python now, that name is not storing the data me. It is pointing to the data. Is a reference. So it's like a label, just like how Chisoma said, is a label attached to that data that is called me. You understand? So this name here, normally you would be able to add this data, but it's not storing this data. Name is not storing the, it is pointing to point it access the when you have arrow, it is not being it is inside of this object, this thing order is pointing into, like it is a thing by object, and this stuff is pointing to, is containing what is name.
Sorry, we can't hear you.
I think his network is bad.
Okay.
Can you guys hear me?
We will not be able to hear you before, but we can hear you now.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Testing. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
All right. Okay. So did you get what I was saying earlier?
Yes, I can get it now.
Okay. So for the, if you look at this exercise now, we'll create a variable for name, age, and state. So I said I would use manifest name as the name. For the age, you guys should give me an age. Mini, give me age. Mini, give me age.
21.
21. What did you say? Okay. Makes sense. Then state.
Lagos.
Lagos. Okay. So after that, what's the next task us to do? So we'll display them, then change value and run again. We'll just display them. Let's just display them. Name. Okay. Let's say. You can say. Let me use some other string here. My name is. Name. I am. Age. Years old. And I am from. State. Alright, so we know what this output will be. How do I run this command? Friends, how do I run this command? How do I run this command?
Python main.py.
Python main.py. So you can see it. My name is Manifest. I am 21 years old and I am from Lagos State. So that's what this guy printed out for us. And then a quick question. Where is this data stored? Because I just explained simple stuff on it. Where is this data stored? Where is the data stored?
Are you talking about the print statement or the variables?
The variables now, they are the data. This is it now. Look at it here. These are the data. Manifest is the data of type string. 21 is the data of type number or integer, as you know it. Lagos is the data of type string. So where are they stored?
Stored as variable now.
Okay. No worries, with time, with time. Like I think I spent 2 to 3 years still believing the variable concept like that in Python before I understood the memory management of Python. So yeah, that one today makes sense that way. Just fix it in your head like that. Now, another stuff again there is I want to do something so you get how this thing works. So Python by default, once you install the Python interpreter, it has this pre-catch stuff. Like for numbers, I don't know about strings, but I know of numbers. So how does Python pre-catch those things now? This is it. The concept I explained to you guys was variable names. Variable like this, like name, age, state, usually point to those data in memory. So Python has pre-built objects for numbers from 5 down to -5. -5 to 256. Is it 256 or 255? I'll check. So these particular numbers are built in. They are built in inside of Python. Because why did they build it like that? So it's easy for you to, instead of wasting memory, because think of it now, if I have num1 equals to 30 and I have num2 equals to 30, and if you remember the concept, I said each of these variables are pointing to this data in memory. So this one will create this 30 objects in memory. It will create another 30 objects in memory. So why are you wasting space when these two are actually the same thing? Do you understand? These two are the same thing in your memory. So why are you wasting space? I wish my stuff I can write very well here, but guy, it's hard to write here because I dey use mouse to try write. So you have this guy, and this one is 30, Jesus. Then you have num1, n1, I'll call this one n1. It created this 30 in memory. So n1 is pointing to this one. N1 has the memory address of 30 in memory. Then you do N2. N2 will now go and create another memory again and call this one another 30 again. I think that is waste of memory space. So for optimization, Python did this pre-catch thing, meaning from 5 minus 5 down to 256. You have those numbers cached down. So if you do N1, N2, both N1 and N2 for optimization will be pointing to the same object in memory. So this N1, N2 is pointing to, both of them are pointing to the same object in memory. Do you understand? Both of them, this N1, N1, N2 are pointing to the same object in memory. How do you know? Okay, how do we prove it that it is actually the same? We can print out the memory address of these two just for us to understand, okay, this is actually true and is working that way. So ID and then num2. So if I print it out, what do you think would be what would be the output?
30.
No, I'm printing out this X and ID. X is returning the hexadecimal representation of an integer, and ID is bringing the identification of that particular data. And remember, I told you guys that num1 and num2 is pointing to this 30 in memory, and it means num1 and num2 they have what? The same memory address of this same 30. So it's just 130, but you are seeing it as 2, but it's 1 in your memory, your computer memory. So if I print it out, what will be the output? Will they be the same memory address or different memory address?
Same memory address.
The same memory address, based on how Python has done their stuff. So you can see it. Both of them are of the same memory address. You see it? Because on a normal, if it was a normal variable that you know, in C or C++, it won't be the same memory address. They would point to different memory address. Manifest, true or false?
True, sir.
Do you get what I said? Manifest, I can't hear you.
My boss.
Yeah, I said it.
He said
Yeah.
what?
Okay.
Okay, rephrase, sir.
So look at it. I said the normal conventional variables that we know. If we created num1 and num2 as normal variables, like variables standalone, both of them would have different memory address, right?
Yeah, they will have different memory.
Yeah,
memory
so you can
address.
see that Python now for optimization, since it's using this reference pointer thing, if you don't see where, you understand what pointer is. So you can see for Python now, both of them are pointing to the same object in memory. That's the reason why we're having the same output here. You can see both of them are in the same object, the same memory address. So this is good for optimization. So if I have another number, let's say somewhere else again, age is 30. Age too, if I print out age, you can see it out yourself. Print out age, ID, and see age. Can you see it? Age 2 is pointing to the same object in memory. So what if, since I said this thing is, let me put it well. Since I said it is starting from -5 down to 256, I think the normal question I would ask myself is, if I should now have a number that is, say, 300, just to prove my point now, I have a number, say 300. If I try to run it, I should have different memory address, since this 300 and 300 is not cached in Python. True or false?
True.
Yeah, but you know the sweet thing there is VS Code themselves too. I mean, this terminal themselves, they've done the caching system too. that if you try to run this same thing, you will point to the same memory address too. You can see it. So for catch
Yeah.
purposes, it's pointing to the same memory address, which would deceive people. So you think this thing is optimized, but when the real Python interpreter is running it in shell, it is actually different. So how do we know that it's going to be different in the real Python interpreter? Let me see if I can use the same Python interpreter here. So I can do the real Python shell. This is Python shell. Then I do num1 equals to 300, and I do num2 equals to 300. If it does not work here, I'll go to the normal shell and print it there, so that we'll not stress ourselves on this thing. As you guys are doing all this basic stuff, try and be checking under the hood of how a particular programming language works. Oh,
Under what?
under the hood, like the memory, under the hood memory stuff. So let me print them out together so it will not be stressful for us. ID num1, 1, 2, then x ID num2, 1, 2, 3. So can you see what I'm saying now?
Yes,
Look
different.
at the output. You can see it's different here, because this is the real Python shell. Like this is the real Python interpreter. So this is the real thing that happens. This one that you saw here is VS Code and their terminal deceiving you because they pre-catch it themselves too. Once you create, like what they did is, once you create this first object 300, they will save it as a catch. So if you want to create another object, the catch will go and check, is there a 300 pi object of number? Yes.
Sorry, I have a question to ask you.
Point it there. Yes, go on.
So in this type of this thing now, how does this thing applies in like in the real life scenario?
It applies for optimization. You need to understand where your data is going and where your data is coming from. Because if you are building a complex system that would require a lot of data thinking, and yeah, I think you are the one doing data. Are you the one doing data stuff?
Data science.
Yes, exactly. So in the normal sense there, where is this thing going to in memory? What is making Python fast and what is making Python slow? Okay, can Python eat, like what is the limit? What can Python do? What can Python not do? Because of this kind of block, they call it, how they won't call the name again, sir. Because of this kind of situation, let me put it as situation now. Because of Python's overhead, because Python is an object, so all these things are taking up memory spaces. Because of all these things, you cannot use Python successfully to build a game. You can do the
I'm
2D
seeing
game. You can
trying
do
to
the 2D
like
game.
hear
You are
the
trying to
concept.
see the
Yes.
of all this
But
stuff.
I don't mind if you can
It's-
just recommended any book or something about this, anything, any article concerning about this thing.
Yeah, the normal stuff for you guys, since you are learning under the you are learning the surface. Me, I'm trying to show you, okay, this is how it is. You try to like visualize it, but then a lot of things you do. If you want to be part of those 99% who just write code, just is working, and I don't care to know if it is optimized, if it is safe or whatever, good, you can just do it. But if you want to know where and where your code is going to, where and where your data is going to on your system, like what is the limit of what you can do, what you should never try, you understand under the hood. Not just Python, even for other languages. That's why low-level languages are actually interesting. You see how they move data and how they pull data. You understand the concept of memory management there. That one is data side. But this is how Python saves data for you. So Python is just pointing to those data. Now, if you wanted to debug stuff, which we'll get to once we are doing more of those stuff, you can actually visualize it in your head and say, okay, I know where this thing is. This particular 300 I've created here, if I'm going to reference, if I'm going to use any other number that would be 300 as a value.
Sorry,
I know
Mr.
I'm not going
Solomon,
to
can
use.
you hear me?
Yeah, I'm hearing you.
Hello?
Who is that? Okay, Chisom, yes, I can hear you. Chisom.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So sorry, I have a question, please. I don't understand all these things you've been teaching since. Like, okay, let me just confess. I open my VS Code now. So I tried to impute some things, but it's not working. I don't know why.
What did you impute?
The name, the
And did
and
you
the
print
state.
it out?
Yes, I put print, but I even like tried to run it by debugging it. I saw debugging stuff, but still
So what was
it
the
didn't work. It
output?
was showing me some error.
What was the error?
Um,
Read it out. So I would ask unscripted and the rest. Let's see if they can understand the error based on what you read out.
okay, it said C dot dot apostrophe CD. I don't know. Maybe the way I wrote the thing.
Uh, let's
See,
you
see.
do that thing now.
Okay, it says print name age, like name comma age comma state apostrophe. That place was showing me red, so I think that is where the error is.
Oh yeah, look at the code that I wrote here and compare it with your own. So this one is for our side. Let me remove this one.
Okay.
Let me now show you this one. So look at the code you wrote and this one here. What did you do wrong? Because what you say you did now is you did not use this print. What you did was print name, comma, age, comma, state. Right?
Yes, yes,
So is this
yes.
how the state is? Hope you did not go and put something in the front of the state.
After in the state, and I put like dot dot in front
Dot
of
dot
it,
care.
like an apostrophe.
I don't understand. You're writing essay. remove the
Okay, maybe that's where the
remove the
problem
dot
is.
dots and run it again. Let's see.
Okay, so if I want to run it again, how do I run it?
So what is the command? That was the question I asked Mini then. What is the command? To run a Python file, what is the command? Unscripted, what is the command?
Print
Python and the file name.
Python and the file name. So you say Python in your terminal. Hope you're in your terminal. In your terminal, you write
yes,
Python, then you put space and the file name. What is your file name? Hope you guys are on your
My
systems
able
too.
pause.
Yeah.
Why don't you
My
just show
able.
her? Let's see it on
No,
your
I don't.
screen.
I want her to do what she wants to do first because you guys will eventually do your own too. So everybody is going to do.
Boss
Yeah,
Solomon.
manifest. I dey hear you.
Okay. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know the system in which everyone is using. Maybe you guys from data science and maybe computer science. Maybe you guys are using iOS. But if I want to, run my own command, I don't do what you do. What I do, I just debug it and
Yeah, you click the button.
print on the terminal
Good.
for me.
Yeah, easy life. Good. That one too is there.
Okay.
She has seen the debug. She said it
Okay.
too now. She has the debugger too on VS Code. You just click on that play button and it does what it wants to do for you. Fine.
And
That one
second
is
question, boss.
yeah.
Would have been
Second
good.
question.
Is that Solomon?
Calm down.
Now this
Never reach
reaction,
anywhere.
this reaction, na normal stuff. No fear, no worry. Everybody dey.
Oh,
We'll
unified
Oh.
enemy, Jesus.
I just want you to. You've tried your own and it did not work. All right. Yeah, share your screen.
Boss Solomon.
Yeah, I dey hear you manifest. Share your screen,
Was
Chisom.
I was
I
when
can't share
you
my
were
screen.
putting
No,
your
I'm connected on my phone. I'm
Alright.
working on my laptop.
Okay, manifest. Continue.
okay, when every day we learn new thing. Actually, I've learned something new because actually when you were printing your variable, I was like, why this man can't put X? He can't put ID there. I was like, what is that? I was like, because normally it's supposed to be like
Oh.
print age, like
Oh
the
no.
variable name is name.
That one is just printing the memory address for you people to see where it is going in your own computer memory. That's the address it is saving the data. So So that's why
You
that's your
see,
own computer
see,
memory. By
like,
address, it is saving this one is saving. This is your
okay,
memory
but
address.
yeah, Shabos, thank you very much. I've learned something new, but at least for where we just they come up, we just put the variable name there, so that we know that okay, oh, they
Sure,
print
sure,
this
sure, sure.
this certain thing.
Sure.
Thank you very much. I
Everything
learned
now
something
mix
though.
with a mix and like that. So, Chisom, are you seeing my screen on it? Are you seeing my screen? Chisom.
Sorry, yes, I can see your screen. Sorry.
So what I did, instead of using this stuff, this run Python file that would run and show this stuff, don't even bother to ask me why. Right from time, I've never been a fan of this stuff.
I'll do later.
So if you do the Python and then the file name .py.
The
What is your
problem
own
is
file
I'm
name?
not even seeing this problem output debug control. Like
Sorry,
beneath
Mr.
my
Solomon.
dashboard.
So that's the first one. So on your system, put your hand
Yes.
on the control button, and at the top, underneath the escape button, you see backtick, and you see one icon that is looking like stream or like wave. Have you seen it? You control backtick. That's for one. Secondly, you can come to your view on the top here, and you open terminal. So you can see this is the same control backtick I was talking of. So on your view, click on your view, go to the terminal.
Okay. Okay. Yes. Thank you.
Have you
I've
opened
seen
it now? Okay.
Yes.
Sorry,
I was
Mr.
thinking the
Mr.
last
Solomon.
class you guys did it. Yeah, unscripted.
I want to ask a question now concerning about we running this Python file now.
Yes.
Let's assume now that we have a lot of like data inside the file, which means if we are to run it like the Python and the file name, so it's going to be running everything that is inside that file altogether. Abi?
The Python, you have a data inside of the file.
Yes. More of like we have
Like
a variable.
This file
Yes.
is like this. Yes,
Yes,
to run
yes.
everything inside of this file. Like this
At
file.
once.
Yes, everything. It is
Okay.
coming from line 1 down to line
To-
2. It is reading it line by line.
Okay, what happened in the case like okay, I don't want to like read everything from the top to the end. I just want to like read a specific line of code there.
Yes, then you do what I did. Now that's comment. You comment it out. Like now, I commented this one out, so it will not read. It will skip these ones. Do you understand? Unscripted. For comment, if you want to do comment, you do your control and forward slash. Is it forward or backward slash? The one that is with the question mark.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Okay, Mr. Solomon, I've been able to run it now.
Did it work?
Yes, it works.
Congratulations. Welcome.
Thank you.
All right. So let's move on. So if we change a variable value, what happens to the old one? Based on that memory concept I've explained to you, what happens to the old one if we change a variable value? Think of it. Look at it now. The reason why I'm explaining these things, you guys need to understand. I'm still saying it. If you want to do Python, like you really want to be a Pythonista, whatever they call themselves, that's makes sense there. So you have num1 as 30, and I come here and say num1 equals to 20. This is sweet question. What happens to the num1 equals to 30? What happens to it?
It doesn't read the one.
It doesn't read the file. Does that mean
Yes, right. No, I mean it doesn't. It will not read the num1 equals to 30
okay? Why?
because it's just like the num1 equals to 20 update is the updated version of num1 equals to 30.
Sweet. Okay. So num1 equals to 30. First of all, remember, those, this thing, when I calm down, don't worry. This stuff, if you do it again and again, because I will always be saying reference. So I'm sure to stick into your head, like it go enter, they're not born and well. So this num1 equals to 30. Remember, num1 is pointing to 30, right? Like you are seeing it, num1 is pointing to 30. Then num1 comes here again and is pointing to 20. So it means num1 is no longer holding the value, the memory address of 30. It's now pointing to 20. As Mini here said, it has done what? Update itself. So this 30 is out of scope already. Nothing is pointing to 30. And in Python, by default, it has what they call garbage collector. So the garbage collector would read your line of code 2 with the interpreter. Then, okay, for the first one, num1 is pointing to 30. It will count the reference. 1. It means one value is pointing to 30. Do you understand? Then num1 again is pointing to what? To 20. So it means num1 is no longer pointing to 30. The reference count becomes what? What is the reference count?
Reference count.
Yes, I said num1 is pointing to 30. So the count is now what? Let me comment it. The count is what? Is 1. Because num1 is pointing to 30. So 30 has one variable pointing to it, right? So that's 1. Then this same variable name, that is this label name that you're calling num1, is now pointing to 20. So it means 22 has one count. Count is 1 for 20. But now num1 is no longer pointing to 30, it's now pointing to 20. It has updated where it is pointing to. So what would happen to the count for 30?
I think 20 is going to override 30.
Yeah, that is the normal sense that we understand it as. We know 20 is one data in the memory, 30 is another data in memory. The normal labels are always pointing to those data in memory. You get? So num1 was initially pointing to 30. Like it's pointing to where 30 is saved in memory. Let's look at this diagram so we'd visualize it again. So this is 30. N1 was initially pointing to 30, right? So once N1 is pointing to 30, the garbage collector is like that security guy that is checking for what you are doing. Okay, which book are you currently using? So it says num1 is currently using this 30 book. So it's using this 30. It will say, okay, this person is currently reading 30, which is going to be what? Reference count. The ref count is going to be what? 1. You understand? So the moment you leave this 30, you now go and point to another book, which is 20. You point to another book as 20. You're no longer reading, you can't read two books at the same time. You are reading just one after the other. So it means you're no longer reading 30. So it's not going to point again to this 30. It's now pointing towards 20. So what happens to 30? What's the reference count for 30 now?
It will now be 0.
God bless you. God bless you. So the reference count is what? Is going to be 0 for this 30. And the garbage collector, they've built it that once it is 0 for the reference count, it will do what? It will automatically clean it from memory. Once it is 0, it will clean it away. So it means you are no longer using it. So that's the update Mini was talking about. So now 30 is out of scope. Yeah.
So for being able to be active, it must be 1.
Yes, it must be 1. Something must be pointing to it. Like something must be using it at that moment. You get? So something must be using it at that moment. So num1 is now updated. Is now pointing to 20. And if you print num1, you can see it's printing out 20. So in other language like Rust, they call it shadow too, but it has a little bit different there. But it's shadowing, they call it too. So you've overshadowed it. This 20 has overshadowed this 30. So it now has count of 1, and this one now has count of what? 0, because it has removed the reference. Num1 is no longer pointing to it. So that's one of those mental things you guys will build. Don't worry. Once you do it more often, you get used to it. So explain the memory concept. You already understand the memory concept of that guy. The memory concept. You don't understand it, you understand it, fine. You will keep on asking questions. Even in the next class, you would ask questions again as regards this one, and I will bring it back again to your notice. So that's how we'll be doing it for the next 3 months. So now another user input. We want to get the user input. We now want to write a real program now, because if you look at systems like Facebook, they don't assume that there is somebody called Solomon and we'll just put the Solomon on our database. We want to get the user's detail. I want to ask Chisum for a name. I want to ask her for her email. You get. I want to ask Unscripted for his name. I want to ask him for his email. I want to ask is it El Camo? He said it's Camo, not El Camo. Camo. I want to ask him for his name and his email. So all those things, there are different users like that. You get. We have billions of users on Earth. So you'd always want to build a system to ask for their user details, because those things are data. Everything we do in programming is just data. Everything is data. You take data, you manipulate data, you give back data. Everything is data. So now for us to build this kind of system, Python has a built-in function called input. So the input would enable us get the user's input. So that's the function of the input. The input is for us to get the user's input. So
Wait, stop.